Hello and welcome back to another video. So it's going to be a bit of a quick one this week. I was just going to talk a little bit about games I've been playing recently. So all of the games I've been playing recently. We'll start with some oldies. Been playing some oldies. I've been playing the Dishonored trilogy. It's basically a trilogy. Played through most of Dishonored 1 and then I hit the flooded district and forgot how shit it was. So I stopped, and then I went on to play the other two. I really like Dishonored. I love it. It's probably one of my absolute favourite series, ignoring the flooded district in the first game, because, oh Christ, garbage. Dishonored 2, though, I've been playing New Game Plus, kind of bashing my way through that, very similarly. Same with Death of the Outsider. These are two very good immersive sims. In fact, I've been on a slight immersive sim binge recently. Been playing more Bioshock. Not enough to put in this video, maybe like an hour. But yeah, been playing these two. Very solid games. I think Death of the Outsider in particular gets a bad rap, which I think is unfair. Because it's not a bad game. By any stretch of the imagination, a lot of the missions are pretty well designed. The new enemies are pretty cool. Clockwork Sentinels in particular, just very amazing. But yeah, I mean, you know, solid series. Very fun to just kind of try and do stealth and then fail horribly to the point where you're like, okay, sod it. I'm gonna spawn two versions of myself that explode when they die. Because why not? Okay, okay. So it's kind of been a running theme of doing New Game Plus on games that I really liked. So I finished RoboCop, Rogue City, which is an excellent game and easily... It basically is my game of last year. It just is. It is just genuinely so fucking good. It's so bloody good. I finished it because originally my PS5 wasn't online. I was like, I can't be bothered with all of the updates and all that nonsense. So I just plugged it in, played through most of it, got to the final boss, and it glitched out so badly I couldn't even finish it. Finally finished it, which is good. They actually made it a challenging fight this time around. And then I went back in and I started doing New Game Plus. And it's really good. It's really good. Absolutely adore that game. That's published by Nacon and created by Teon, who also made Terminator Resistance Enhanced Edition. Now, my wife got this for Christmas or her birthday last year. She played through the whole thing. Absolutely loved it. I think she's aiming to get to the DLC at some point. But I was playing an awful lot of Infiltrator mode. So with Infiltrator mode, you basically play as the Terminator. You go around taking out human resistance bases in this kind of sort of procedurally generated map. And yeah, I played the crap out of that. I think I played that for like a day. Day solid of just that same mode over and over and over again because it randomizes every time. Same map. It's kind of underdeveloped. It's kind of an underdeveloped mode, which is a bit of a shame. But I think it's a very good game. If I had to pick between the two, I don't think I could. I don't think I could pick between Terminator Resistance and Rogue City for games I really genuinely adore. They're just very solid games. Rogue admittedly, I did stop playing RoboCop after well, I got stuck on a bullshit bit, which was bullshit even when I played through it the first time. So I was like, I think I'm done. Okay, so it's been mostly PlayStation. I will freely admit that it's been mostly PlayStation, which for me isn't that common. I have been playing a bit of the 360. So what with the shop shutting down, I basically went and spent about 40 quid. No, 50 quid. Like 50 quid on all the games I'd never bought, and I finally bought them more. Which I know it's on Xbox Series X, but I'm not playing that fucking console. It's garbage. So I finally bought them all. I bought Fireburst, a few other games actually. But I've been playing some of the old ones, so Self-Actor Psychokinetic Wars, Section 8 Prejudice, I loved Section 8 when it released in 2009. Excellent game where you play as a soldier rocketing down from a ship from orbit, which is just amazing. So I was playing a lot of those. I went back and visited my Xbox 360 Minecraft world, which was built on this huge-ass plateau, which then descended into a giant stalactite, which was awesome. I built this absolutely fucking enormous house on it. I may go back in and add more, to be fair. I've added like 4 towers. And yeah, it looked amazing. It just did. It looked really cool. Maybe I'll turn the base into lava. We'll see. But yeah, playing an awful lot of the 360. A little bit of the GameCube. A little bit. Not a whole lot. Mostly playing just some old favourites. But we'll get into the final 4 games and the major thing. The major thing I have been playing the ever-loving crap out of, and something I'm still meaning to do a video on. I just haven't got around to it yet. So, I've been playing 4 games in particular for the PS5. We'll start with one from Limited Run, which is Fashion Police Squad, where you play as this absolutely fabulous cop, going around basically fixing fashion disasters, so socks with sandals, ill-fitting suits, Karens, things like that, in their fucking potato sack dresses. And yeah, it's a really solid classic first-person shooter where you don't kill anybody. You just fix their attire, you fix their clothing, and that makes them all happy-go-lucky, which is just genuinely excellent. It's a lot of fun. Again, kind of hit the bullshit bit where I descended into this subway, got absolutely ganged up on by a lot of jackasses in really bad clothes, and they killed me like 5 times. So I was like, I think I'll take a break. I think I'll take a break from Fashion Police Squad. But I'm going to be honest with you. I bought a lot of first-person shooters from Limited Run, like a lot of them. Turok 2. Quake, Dust, all that stuff. This is one of my favourites because it's just so much fun. It really is. It's really stupid. I want Civi11, who's a YouTuber I watch quite frequently. He does a lot of older style video games from like the 90s, early 2000s. Mostly first-person shooters. He also covers like newer first-person shooter games. A good example is Fashion Police Squad. It's one I want him to cover. I want him to cover it really badly because it's just so bloody entertaining. Okay, yeah, we'll go with you. That's the game I'm playing currently, and that's the game my latest finish. So, as I said, my PS5 had not been connected to the internet. Basically, been playing a lot of these games pretty raw. I went back and played Ghostwire Tokyo. So they've added a bucket load to this. They've made the combat more interesting. I think they've added new enemy types. There's a whole new mode called the Spider's Web, or the Spider's Thread, sorry, which seems really interesting. Basically, you descend through a series of levels. I think it's about 30, and it's like a completely separate side mode, and it can be something as simple as destroying a pot, killing a bunch of enemies, or this whole blown horror experience. It's by Tango Gameworks, who are unfortunately no longer with us because fuck Xbox. And, yeah, I think it's a crying shame because they made some of the most visually interesting games I've ever seen. And now, don't get me wrong, I will never play Hi-Fi Rush because I'm really bad at rhythm games. Really bad. Absolutely garbage. But this is probably one of my favourite open-world city-based games. So it's set in Tokyo. Duh. And you're playing as this kid who's been possessed by the ghost of a paranormal detective, I suppose. I suppose is the best way to explain it. And you go around fighting a bunch of Japanese ghosts, which are done really well. They're super simple. I've been really hung up on how super simple these enemies are, but how much they stick in my brain. So, for example, there are high school students, both boys and girls. I think the boys are supposed to be Japanese delinquents, but they've both got no head. They have no head. And it really is as simple as that. They have no head, and I'm like, that sticks in my brain. Because A, they're ghosts, B, they're clearly just people, but C, they got no head. It's such a simple design where I'm like, I love that because it is so bloody simple and they fit into the combat really well. Then you've got a whole load of people with umbrellas, but the major ones are just basically Slenderman. They're normal-sized human Slenderman, who are supposed to be like disgruntled Japanese businessmen who are so angry and hateful of life that they've come back to basically cause misery and pain wherever they go. Which is excellent. Which is great. Which is genuinely really fun. However, it's kind of one of those games where I can play it for maybe an hour, maybe two, before I get really bored. Because the open world is shit and empty. It's shit and empty. If this game hadn't been open world, I think it would have been better. And quite frankly, if I could pull Bethesda from the grasping clutches of Xbox and get them to actually make video games again on shit, I would. Like Wolfenstein. We'll never get that third Wolfenstein game, which I think is a crying shame, but considering how shit Youngblood is, don't blame them. Okay, here's a game I've never really gotten into. So, in 1999, a game called Outcast released. Outcast was kind of a groundbreaking landmark title that was mired by the fact that it was A, massively ahead of its time, B, could barely run on anything, and C, was just glitchy as shit. And they released this game. It's set on an alien world called Adelpha, which is a parallel version of Earth. You're part of a research team sent on a suicide mission, effectively, to stop a giant warp storm, or void storm, or whatever, an interstellar storm, from destroying the world. You fail. You fail at the end of the first game. Your lover dies, all terrible, you have a daughter. Outcast, A New Beginning. An interesting follow-on. Now, I didn't get too much into the original Outcast. I think it was merely okay. I've been meaning to pick it up again, if strictly so I can go, oh yes, Outcast, I've got the whole series, all 2 games. Maybe I'll get the PC version as well. But, New Beginning. This game really caught my attention at last year's pseudo E3, where it went, oh, jetpack. Ooh. I really like Dark Void from 2010, 14 years ago. Long time ago. Long time ago for that game. But gave you a jetpack and it was excellent. This doesn't give you a jetpack. It gives you a jump pack, which was an immediate downgrade as far as I'm concerned. However, what do I think about it? It's probably the most checklist game I have ever played. For every village, so you have to get every village allied with you. To do that, each of them has at least 2 major checkboxes that they need filling out. And then those checkboxes have more checkboxes. And then those checkboxes have more checkboxes. And it kind of got to a point where I went, this game is really boring. I finished it, largely because you're able to get a gun that completely breaks the progression. So if you do all of these quests for these particular villages, you get powers, effectively. You get like a little beacon thing that you can fire out of a slingshot that summons like an anti-gravity field, or summons bees, or summons vines that I never used, or it summoned like a bombing run. The problem with that is it takes so bloody long that by the point I got all of them to be of any use, I had a gun that fired for the cost of 1 ammo out of 400. It fired 7 shots. They exploded on impact. They were homing, and they left a secondary proximity mine attached to whatever the hell they hid that then exploded again. So, to be honest with you, it broke the game. It broke the game completely. I cleared through it in probably, I'd say, 10 hours less than I really should have been able to. But, what do I think of Outcast? I think it's merely okay. It's a game I've played. It's a game I've completed. It's a game I will never play again. It's just, unfortunately, one of those games. That being said, the next game, which will be the second to last thing I talk about, because it's the one I'm currently playing, is one I have completely changed my tune on, and that's because I'm using cheats. Deathloop. Now, when I got Deathloop, I fucking hated it. I think its gunplay is garbage. I think its characters are insanely annoying. I think its map variety is some of the most fucking lazy and boring I have ever seen Arcane pull out of their ass. And quite frankly, it was a miserable experience to play. Then I updated it, and it gave me accessibility options, which meant I could kill every enemy in the game with one shot, which made playing it considerably more appealing. Now, admittedly, I am still playing through it, but I'm enjoying picking apart the loop, which is kind of the major thing this game is about, that also gets in the way of actually fucking doing that. It's not ideal, and quite frankly, yeah, the fact that I have to resort to using instant kill accessibility options to enjoy the game, I'd say, is kind of a massive detriment to its design, and its gunplay in particular is hot garbage. But I'm actually enjoying it. It's not going to be a game of the year by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm actually having fun with it for a change. Final thing. I've been playing a bucket load of the Atari VCS. So they have, either had or have, a big old sale. Big old sale going on. Crap load of games. Like a crap load of games on there that are on sale for pretty cheap. I think there's more now. So I may look later and then spend maybe another 10, 20 quid. We'll see. We'll see. I'm saying that quietly so my wife doesn't hear me. But I've been really enjoying the Atari Recharge games. Berserk Recharged, Centipede Recharged. I think I bought Caverns of Mars. I've bought some other stuff that's just really cool. This is a cool console. It cost me £300 2 years ago, and I have barely played it until this year, when they went, oh, have a free game on us for Valentine's Day. And I went, cool, I'm going to get that food fight game that you've made that's a first-person shooter that's basically Splatoon. It's amazing. It's really good fun. Plus, free online play, streaming services out of the wazoo, and a PC mode that I have not used and never will. But that's just because its internal memory is hot garbage. I need a hard drive for this thing. But I've been enjoying it. I heartily recommend the VCS. I will be doing a video on this thing eventually. I'm not too sure when, but I will be doing a video on it, which will then go in the Facebook group for the Atari VCS community, and where hopefully they'll enjoy that video. But that's what I've been playing recently. Thank you for joining me. Hope you're well. And be sure to stick around for next week. Not too sure what the hell we're going to talk about. Might talk about the Polymega, because we're 6 months in of me having the bloody thing and I barely talked about it. So we'll probably talk about the Polymega again and go from there. Brilliant. Thank you very much and goodbye.